As it is 8:30 on April the 27th, 2026, 8:30 a.m. I'll call the meeting of the DeKalb County Commissioners to order. Welcome back, Commissioner Hartman.
So thank you. One piece.
First item under old business is guardrail damage to County Road 27 and County Road 32.
Correct. So we had an accident, well, we didn't, there was an accident there last year, May 13th. Lady ran off the roadway for unknown reason, hit the guardrail, damaged the guardrail. I had the guardrail repaired from Specialties. The bill for that was $2,900. Billed their insurance for that. I even worked with Andrew on this, went back and forth arguing with them. They were only agreeing to pay $1,150. I don't agree with it because it was the cost to replace it. I mean, the cost is the cost, but in their sole wisdom, this is all they agree to pay. Talked to Andrew a little bit more about it. We both kind of feel the cost of fighting it. Would we regain it or not, or overexpend where we're going to lose? So wanted to bring it before your guys' attention and get your feeling if you agree with that. If you do, I'll have the president sign this property damage release. Then we'll get a check for $1,150. Or if you want to pursue, Andrew can relay on his expertise of that. I don't know if it's worth it.
File a lawsuit, but back out of the company.
Not right, but it's the game.
I'm not going to get a deductible out of that. That's what we're going to get that check.
That should be yes, because our insurance.
No. Right.
But sometimes, like, okay, so they're going to send us the check directly, not to the client, then to us. Okay.
We are the opposing.
Let me make sure.
So I guess just for my curiosity, why are they only offering that instead of what they actually owe?
Was this the one, Ben, where there was more than a $2,900 expense because we repaired part of an old hit, and then we just split out only what the company said they repaired from this accident? The insurance company, I think, has said they don't believe that. That's the best they go with.
Be my guess.
It's a bunch of, there are different damages, at least one other set of damage that was there, because they don't all get called in to Ben Parker when an accident happens. If someone just rams into it or something, they may not call in the accident if they can drive their car away from it.
Right.
So, again, I don't believe it's right, but the amount of money we would spend to try to get that extra $1,750 is probably not worth it. And a lot of time and hassle and cost that we can't recoup of time for him and his employees, essentially.
The guardrail has been repaired. We've already paid the bill. So it's just a matter of how much we want to accept to recoup.
I mean, if it was a $20,000 bill and they were only paying $5,000, then I'd say the calculus would be different.
Gentlemen, pleasure.
Well, I guess going on our attorney's recommendation and Parker's recommendation, that I would make the motion to approve the $1,150 reluctantly, I might add, because this is a ripoff by, once again, by an insurance company, and we'll give them some good advertisement, I guess. But that's my motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion.
With the same motions.
Pardon me?
With the same emotions.
Can I third that?
Not at this time.
All right.
We have a motion and a second to, and I totally agree, reluctantly to accept the $1,150 settlement from the insurance company as presented. Are there any more questions or comments? Hearing none. Is there anyone in the audience? Hearing no one. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
It looks like this is, it says the underlying cruise and cruise. So,
Oh,
OBO, ASO, whatever OBO and ASO mean. I know also no one asks us, but
I know we talked about it, and you
it's
recommended.
probably authorized representative. I don't like the idea of necessarily signing something like that, but, why don't you have Jim sign it? And then I'll sign underneath and then we'll satisfy it.
okay. Right.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure that, I mean, we've already, yeah, no. It is kind of crazy. So, yeah, just have Jim sign whenever.
just one,
Thank you.
all it needs. Just one copy.
Well, if you want to sign this one, then I'll have works. Thank you.
Moving on to, it's not 9 o'clock yet.
Jim, I got
Oh, I'm sorry.
a couple things for you, guys,
Yep,
real quick, if you don't mind.
yes,
I
please.
have received the performance bond and payment bond for Bridge 75. It was the awarded bid. These are the original forms, so if you guys can make note and accept these will go down to Susan.
Need to make a motion probably to accept those, please.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the payment bond from R.L. McCoy Incorporated.
And performance bond. There's two bonds there.
Oh, 2 bonds, I'm sorry. As presented. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
And then they also sent me back the signed contract for Bridge 75. This will be for the president to sign and then the auditor to attest. And then we're all under contract and ready to go.
I'll make a motion for the.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to permit the president to sign the contract as presented. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. Is this,
Then Susan can attest it.
you want me to sign there? Yep, okay. Or Ben, anything else, sir?
That's all I have for you. No.
Mr. Hartman, do you have anything for Ben? You have anything? No.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you. You can, that's fine.
Moving on, we have payroll for approval for excuse me, pay period of April 5th to the 18th. Do you want these as separate motions?
Yeah,
No, oh, just the pay date of May 1st. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. I was looking at it as to, I'm sorry. Yeah. So we have the payroll for approval as presented.
Motion to approve payroll.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve payroll as presented. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We have the claims for approval.
Make motions to accept claims as presented.
Oh, second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the claims as presented. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. We have the minutes for approval.
Make the motion to accept minutes as presented.
I'll second half of them. Second half.
Yeah.
Second half.
No, I'll have to abstain.
We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes for approval as presented. Any questions or comments?
Bill, you seconded the whole thing?
No,
Oh.
actually, I don't know that I can because I'm here for half.
Oh, do you want to second the second half then?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll do them as separate motions.
separate motions,
We'll
okay,
do them as separate motions.
Okay,
okay.
first half.
So, rescind your motion.
Rescind my motion. I'll make a motion for the first half to approve them.
Can we just have
I know.
Jim second the whole thing
Bill, you abstain?
and
Okay.
Bill abstains?
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second. Any comments or questions concerning the minutes for approval? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed? 0. So it passed 2-0 with 1 abstention. We have time, I think, for the county website.
Is they gonna come over and talk about that?
Yeah, do we,
Well, if you had questions on it.
well, I believe he should speak about it, or at least for the public to be informed. Why don't we wait on that one then? The RSD resolution draft proposal discussion.
That one we're gonna hold off on because, the attachment I had was corrupted and IT had to fix things this morning, so you guys didn't receive the whole thing.
Okay. So we'll just table that.
Yeah, I'll just bring it next week, or next meeting.
So we'll table that. So we have a motion, Andrew, to do that?
I mean, you could just table it by agreement of everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't,
The Butler EJ, or ETJ appointment is
That one's on hold.
it's on hold as well. We have the DART invoice, first quarter 2026 for approval and signature.
Was the invoice that Kimberly presented on last meeting, but NDOT hadn't sent her the form yet.
But we still need approval.
Yes.
We approving the local match on that, or?
You approve these invoices every time she presents, because she has to submit it for payment, and then the payment comes to us. We don't match anything. It's just grant funds get sent to the county, because we're a pass-through entity, and then I turn around and send them to DART. But because they come through the county, you guys have to approve the invoices.
So why does it say applied local match?
That's her. She's got other money. She's got DART money and then other money, so they put so much in, and then the grant has.
yeah, I got it pulled the motion to accept.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Section 5311 rural transit as presented. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0.
Blue ink.
Got to be blue?
Yeah.
It's blue?
I know, but. Be careful. Does it actually come out blue?
No?
Picky, isn't she?
Yeah, I know. Here. Invoice for cloud contract.
That was the one that Attorney Cruz had emailed you about, and he's asking for your approval to send a non-renewal letter to them.
To non-renew, I think, as of, what was it, August?
You have it for
Well, maybe the end, no, it's non-renewal for the end of the year. I think they're considering terminating early, but
oh, okay.
we definitely want to lock in the non-renewal by the end of the year. Good point.
So we're making the motion to not renew it.
Correct.
I'll make that motion not to renew the contract with, Cloud.
Invoice Cloud.
For Andrew to send the letter.
And for Andrew to send the letter.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second involving the invoice cloud contract as presented. Are there any other questions or comments? Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried 3-0.
Thank you. I will get that letter out.
When they cancel, if they decide to cancel in August, do we have to do another motion on that, or they're
I
gonna?
think so. Yes.
Okay.
That probably should be noted in the minutes to make sure we get that done in August.
If they want it.
Yeah. If needed, please. We'll have time. Tour of courthouse.
So I sent you guys the email I received from the Scoutmaster. He's wanting to know if we can make it happen for the Saturday on the weekend of May, or basically next Saturday. If we can make it happen that the Scouts get a tour of the courthouse, and it helps to meet one of their
Merit badges.
something.
Fulfills one of the requirements for the merit badge that they're working on that weekend.
So I contacted Larry to see if he would be available. He said he is available. And then I asked Neil, and Neil is not available to do it. And I have not been able to reach out to anybody else. He gave me two other names, which was Jeff Turner and I think Tom, that they also do tours. But I haven't been able to reach out to them because this was Friday.
Gentlemen. Pleasure.
If they can make it work, I'm fine with it. If the other departments that need to be involved are okay with it.
I won't second. They need to be, this needs to be put together. It needs to be put together. They can pick a later date or something.
They can't. He understands it's late. They can't. They're camping at the fairgrounds that weekend. And there was another event, something that they were planning, and it did not go through. And so he understands it was a late request, and he was just coming to see if we were able to make it happen.
They're camping at the fairgrounds from May 1st to the 3rd. And during that camp out, they were wondering if they can come on that Saturday and come fulfill these requirements.
second the motion. Yeah, I realize it's late, but I agree, if they can get somebody to do the tour, then it's education that is badly needed in my mind. Anytime we can get somebody to tour this building, it's very good for history at the very least. So we have a motion and a second to accept the tour as presented, with the caveat that they have to, a tour guide has to be found. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
If they can get the tour guides, then I don't want us to be the ones that stop them.
Is there any other comments or questions? Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 2-1. For the Easter Seal representatives, is it okay if we go early? Morning. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Caitlin Scheidler. I am the Senior Director of Development for Easter Seals, Indiana. And I am here to present a request that was, I believe, submitted to you guys a few weeks ago. So we are asking for $45,000. That is our same request from previous years. And those funds would be used to support the work that we do in Northeast Indiana. So that encompasses DeKalb County as well. So some things that we are doing for DeKalb County residents with disabilities that are in our services, they would be able to, if they're interested, to attend some pre-employment and introduction to a SOCA course with Trine University. So we are working on a mini certificate, so not the full SOCA certificate, but just a mini one to get people started in manufacturing. That also would include some career exploration and job shadowing opportunities through different businesses that we're partnered with. Employment services, that's another big thing that we do for the participants in DeKalb County that are part of our services. So that includes working with a job specialist, getting in different businesses, trying out. We also have a voc rehab that is encompassed in that as well. And then the biggest thing that this funding is used for is our participants. It allows us to come to DeKalb County, pick them up, and then take them to our day services in Angola. With our participants' limited income and Medicaid, they can't afford DART to do that. So this money helps us have transportation for them. And then the other thing there is our ES gaming program. So last Friday, they just had their big tournament at Trine. And with that ES gaming program, it not only is just online gaming, that also includes our digital and virtual reality job training. We have over 200 modules that individuals can use to try out, explore different job opportunities. And then now this year, we have just rolled out some digital literacy opportunities. So that is classes taught by our instructor that's open to our whole network, but that would include things like internet safety, who are you talking to, things to submit on the internet and not, but then it would also include some basic courses for Microsoft Office, resume building, and those types of things. So that is kind of a broad overview of what that $45,000 would go to. Again, that's in line with what we've asked in previous years. And then some other things that Easter Seals is working on, not just in DeKalb County. We have a partnership with Anthem to kind of help combat some cost and reduce Medicaid spend for ABA therapy. So individuals with autism, we have a new cohort starting that is working with families one-on-one to get their child back in school, and kind of reducing those hours of ABA to also then in return reduce some Medicaid spend as well. Any questions for me?
Is this for the year 2027?
Yes, sorry.
We decide this during budget season, don't we, Susan? Or is this coming out of our lighted, or is this as part of the budget we submit to the council?
So she just came early to let you know what requesting, and then
So,
there's nothing to do or
I was
vote
gonna
on
say there's
today.
yeah.
But if you have questions for her, you can ask her.
Other questions?
I have none, and we've did this for years. Sometimes I have gotten comments about donating taxpayer money to nonprofit entities, but I'm not here to put the stop on it. Not at this point.
Well, thank you all for your time this morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Does anyone in the audience have questions for her? Hearing none. Thank you again for coming. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Ah. Good morning, sir. Doing well. And you? Could you kind of fill us in on the county website, at least for the public to hear what's going on?
Okay. Good. All right. So earlier this year, we got a notice from our website company that they're closing that part of their business. So we started looking for a different company. We talked to two companies and got proposals from both companies. And Carolyn and I went through a few demos from both companies. And since she handles most of our website editing for the IT department, I also had her go through the back end of each company to see which one she is more comfortable working with. And we decided to go with Civic Plus. Now, Civic Plus has done a few websites around Indiana, so they are familiar with the different laws. So for example, starting next year, all county websites have to be ADA compliant. So things like that they are familiar with, and they are going to be implementing that. So we did get a quote for $21,000 to develop the website, $21,006 to develop the website. And that is similar to what we paid the first time we got our current website made. So that was just for the development. And that's it. Any questions?
I know the conversations I've had with you, you guys have been looking at a couple of sites. You guys are comfortable with the back office and all that stuff?
Correct.
What is the annual cost?
The annual cost will be $6,500, but that's already included in our in the IT budget.
21,006 is not?
It's not correct, because that was, spending that
Startup.
we didn't know about yet. So it's the startup of the website with the new company. $6,500 a year for hosting.
But the 21,000
The
includes
21,000.
the first year, I think.
No, the 21,000 is for the development of the website.
I thought it also maybe included the first year. No? I thought it did. Maybe not.
Not in this proposal that I have, but I can verify that and let you guys know if I'm wrong on that.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
For the $21,006.
So we will need a motion to allow, is this going to be for 2027?
Yes, because our current website is going to be up till about the end December of this year. And with the new company, they're requesting 6 months to build a website.
Oh,
So we are getting close to the deadline here to sign with them.
So is there anything that the commissioners actually need to sign on? This one,
So this one does not have, so this was just a quote. So, and I also need to go to the council as well at the next meeting to try and get funding for it. So since this is the company we are going with, I have not informed them yet that we've made a decision, because I wanted to talk to you guys first and talk to council as well, and then inform them. So once I get an actual document, a contract, then I can bring that for you guys to sign.
Do you already have it in your budget to purchase this possibly, or is that why you think you need to go to council on it, or?
No, we do not, because it's an expense that
The 21,000?
we didn't know of
Wouldn't
when
be
we
in the
did our,
budget.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. The regular annual payment's already in the budget, but
Yes.
not the initial down.
Correct.
Okay. So then you would come back to the commissioners to have them sign the contract or approve the final version if council approves it?
Yes,
That's your current plan?
that's my plan, yes.
that would be the motion that would to, if you wish, gentlemen, to allow PESA to move forward with the contract to the council with, I guess, with the caveat that council had to approve it before it could actually happen.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to allow PESA to go to the council to get approval for the $21,006 for their development fee, with the caveat that the council has to approve before coming back to us with a contract.
Correct.
Correct, gentlemen?
Yep, I think that's accurate, yes. Yes, sir.
Any other discussion or questions? Anyone from the audience? Yes.
Thank you.
I just have a couple questions on what was the package, the company? Is it an easy build website? Is it something that a developer continually has to update for us? Just a number of technical questions.
Okay, so
More interest, I'm not questioning anything, I just interest on my side.
we're going with Civic Plus. And Civic Plus built their own backend. So it's not, for example, like a WordPress website. So they build their own backend, they maintain it. If we need any updates done on the website itself, we can either do it or reach out to them to do it. Civic Plus.
Thank you.
I can get you something.
Okay, if you
I'll-
can email me, that'd be great.
Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you for coming this morning.
Thanks, Pizza.
Appreciate it. The other two are on hold, so do we need to wait till 9:15? Is Cameron Rice, we do need to wait? Okay. Commissioner Hartman, do you have anything?
I do, and it's something that just come to mind. We have this gas tax holiday, 30-day exemption of the gas tax money. Going to affect highway. Last I knew, we had some excess money that we will need to, we can spend before the end of the year in our lighted budget. I'm going to propose that we use some of that money for highway, for road improvement, out of our lighted budget.
Do you have an amount in mind?
Not this time. I don't know how much we have in excess of what we've obligated to spend, but
I would have to figure that out because we get receipts throughout the year.
mhm.
So I'd have to figure,
I think there was a sizable amount in there at one point. And, I mean, $1 million would be nice if we could do that. But I just don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Sure.
But I think we need to keep the road process improvement moving forward. He's gonna need some more money because it looks like this gas tax is gonna put a dent in our resources.
I don't disagree with that, but at the end of the day, it's up to the council to get the financing for the highway department, not for the commissioners. We already give them $1 million. We give them another $1 million, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's up to the council to decide how they fund it. They're the ones that do the tax rate on it.
It's not up to council. This is a commissioner's lighted budget. We don't need the council to do this.
I understand that, what you're saying about that. I'm saying what the council's job is the ones who fix the roads. They're the ones that have to set the tax rate going forward to continue to fix these roads as going forward.
This isn't the tax rate.
I understand that, Bill. I understand this is our lighted fund that we're wanting to use.
Yes.
But you're wanting to use it to offset some of the cost for the roads to be fixed, correct? Sorry, I don't know if that was whispering it out. But the council needs to decide a long-term plan after this year of what they're going to do for this money.
I'm not talking about after this year. I'm talking about this year.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm
You
also, I'm making
You
the,
understand, but you evidently, you don't understand.
I do understand, Bill. I'm making the comment that in the future, the council needs to figure this road stuff out. We've already given them $1 million. You're asking for another $1 million for 2 years. Okay, so we get $2 million this year. What are they gonna do next year? And that was the comment I'm making as the
Hopefully
council.
They have their gas tax next year.
And that would be on to the council's decision, correct?
No.
The gas tax is a
It's not
council's
council's
decision.
decision.
Andrew, isn't all taxes done by the council?
the gas tax though is the highway,
It goes to highway automatically. Right?
right, but the council.
I think you're kind of both saying the same thing, but kind of misperceiving where you're coming from, maybe a little bit. I think Kellen is saying he might approve the $1 million this year, potentially some amount,
Yes.
but the council needs to plan going forward too, and I think you agree with that as well. I think you guys kind of
Absolutely,
agree.
absolutely.
That was my statement was,
But I don't know what one has to do with the other one at this point in time.
I understand. I think Kellen
I mean,
is just saying we need to
summer
plan.
season is here upon us, and he's going to be short on gas tax.
And so your point is you'd like to have some good money head in that direction this year?
I mean, what happens next year is next year, and the council will address that this summer. We're talking the summer season when we have to get these things done, and we're going to be short on money.
Yep.
We'll wait on Susan to give us an update on where we are with the finances, and we can certainly think about it.
Yeah.
Address it.
It's food for thought at this point.
Maybe, yeah, probably not in 2 weeks, but maybe a month.
So the
Well, time's burning. It's the season.
projects that are already planned for this year would be funded.
Sure about that.
So with the
what?
Yeah,
gas,
because we had to approve the budget of what he wanted to do last year.
Where you going to make up that gas tax shortage from?
Well, he has money in his funds. Like he's already had extra money, like he's had money that adds up throughout the year, and then we just get more, so it's gonna be,
Next year's when the
Next
gas tax
year.
thing is gonna hit, is what you're saying, sort of?
yeah, like, we budget kind of with the prior year's money, because we know those are the revenue that we're gonna receive. I'm more than happy to look it up and show it to everybody, but
Please do. That's all I'm asking.
Commissioner Hartman, anything else?
No.
Commissioner Dooley? Still waiting?
We have to wait until the time.
We have to
yeah.
wait till it.
But does he need to explain anything first to the commissioners so they know what's going on? Okay,
So, Andrew,
Yes.
at 9:15, will we need to adjourn this meeting?
I don't know that you want to adjourn it, you just want to maybe start a hearing.
Yeah.
We can
On
start
these two.
a hearing within the hearing.
Yes, within the meeting, yep.
Yep.
Start a hearing within
That's
the
what we've always done before.
Well, we had that issue before. I was just asking for
Yeah.
clarification before we get to that point.
Yeah, I think you can just start the hearing within the meeting.
Or anything else we need to discuss? Do you have anything, Andrew?
those all need signed.
I don't think so currently.
Names on different lines. Keep us awake.
Two different employees create their,
I think it's to make sure we're awake.
right?
Well, it worked.
I know.
We have a few minutes. Kellen, would you like to discuss this? Sure. If you don't mind.
Yeah, that's the,
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Mini coffin.
let's not go that way. So the time capsules came in that we did purchase. The big one is with Larry to help with Atlas to design the which best way to present it inside the cannon. The little one here, camera can see, is what's going to be passed out to all the municipals in the county, so that way they can put whatever they would like to put in there. If they want to put in a letter from the mayors or whatever memorabilia they would like to put into it. Each city's going to have their own, so they can decide what goes into it. I asked them to have it back to me by, what's the date I put on there? June 26th. That's the week before that's the Friday before the next weekend is July 4th, which we're going to do some sort of celebration. I'm working with downtown Auburn to figure out, they have a little celebration already for July 4th, so we're going to kind of piggyback with putting the time capsule in there. We also have one for the county, so if you guys want to write a letter for the future in 50 years, you guys can. I have Mary Deal is going to kind of put some stuff together as the historian for us as the county. I also had the idea of, and I'm trying to find some hardware drives to maintain pictures, to have all the department heads for the county and all the municipals, if they want to send pictures of whatever they want, we can put them on these drives and hope they last 50 years. That's a question, I'm trying to figure out. And they also gotta be small enough to fit in one of these too, so. Now, we have an extra one of these, cause we have 10, and that's where I'll put the drives into it for pictures and whatnot, people wanna put into it. So I've started handing them out, I will finish handing them out today, so then that way, and then, any questions will be to myself. And Mary Deal is heavily involved. She's willing to help out with preservation, how to preserve items and stuff like that, so they last 50 years.
Nice to have the county historian involved.
Yes.
He knows probably more than any of us,
Yes.
at least me anyway. As it is 9:15 now, we can call to order this hearing involving, which one are we going to do first?
The first one listed is Robert Sliger and Leota Dickerson. We could start with that one, if that's okay with you, gentlemen.
Floor is yours, Mr. Gomer, please.
Yeah, so, morning. I guess the first one on the agenda is for Slinger and Dickerson. Cameron can go ahead and go through the file. He prepared manila folders with the name and the address on there, so he can kind of go through the reports. He included the report, the letters, and recent photos of the property, and can go through those with you. If the petitioners or the property owners are here, they can come up and explain things further for you guys to have questions. With this hearing, this is the third and final step in the process. So we would be looking to the commissioners for guidance on how you would want to proceed, whether that's give them more time if they're here to explain their case, or move forward with filing a lawsuit to get the property cleaned up. So with that, Cameron, go ahead and start, my friend.
And Cameron, why don't I go ahead and swear you in at this
Okay.
point? Do you swear to?
You want to do
raise
both
your
of
right
us just in
hand?
case?
Yeah, we can do that. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right.
So, basically, I was going through the files and everything. Excuse me, I'm kind of nervous.
Don't be
Give me a
nervous.
second.
They're easy. They're easy.
So I went through the file and everything, kind of see what's going on, being the new code enforcement and everything. I noticed this one was up on the next step of being on level, 3 and everything. So I went ahead, drove by and everything, make sure, everything was credible, if the property was still in, the photos, obviously, if it was still in delinquent and everything, as it is. So I drove by, documented everything. I then spoke with everybody, with Andrew and Chris and stuff, and basically went about on starting the letter 3 of notice to appear. I did post it. I certified mailed it, hand delivered to the Miss Dickerson, and then Easter weekend, Miss Dickerson decided to basically harass the DeKalb County phone right here. I did talk to Andrew and Chris about it. I did make a notification with the sheriff and everything, and Andrew could probably touch more base on that. But yeah, I did put everything together with all the notices and pictures and everything.
And are these your new pictures?
Yes, those are.
The ones in the packet today are your new pictures?
Yes, yep, those, and it still looks as it was when Mr. Sleeper went out there. So nothing has changed. I did put the days together. They did have on 1/8/2025 to current, they had 474 days to have the property cleaned up, things taken care of, and stuff like that. So, that's what I have on this one.
Did, at any time, Cameron, did they ask you for more time to clean up or anything like that, try to negotiate?
Nope, there was no conversation. It was just a voicemail was left. You can't really understand what Ms. Dickerson was saying, but what she wanted you to hear, she made it very clear at the very end of the voicemail. So, and
What
Chris
did
and
you
Andrew-
think you heard at the end of the
So
voicemail?
basically, at the end of the voicemail from Ms. Dickerson said, basically, if you enter this property, you will die. So I
Are you
did,
planning to take like somebody else with you, like a sheriff's officer?
yeah,
or something if needed?
so
Okay.
there will be a sheriff on, multiple on these kind of cases, just basically for my
Especially if
safety
you see a
and
safety
stuff like-
issue.
Yeah, so, with that being left, you know, you can hear it clear in the voicemail, and we can probably get that to you guys if you guys wanna listen to it and everything. But then there is another phone number, that is attached, that is to another lady that is somehow, gotta be some kind of relationship or some sort, where she kept calling and calling and calling as it's listed. She called at, 406, 616, and 619. I did answer it, the first two times I let it ring through, there was no voicemail. The second time I did answer, cause I'm like, is somebody in dire need, from 618 to 619, like, are they just trying to get hold of me or something? But that's where she made it very clear on if any DeKalb County government agency, sheriff, whoever, that they would be harmed entering the property and stuff like that. So all this stemmed from me just handing the lady a piece of paper and walked away. I honestly wasn't, encouraging or anything of all these phone calls or anything.
As far as you can tell, Cameron, looking out into the crowd, is she here today? The lady that you talked to or saw in person?
Not that I can see, no.
Okay.
So, Andrew, do you have additional comments?
I guess my additional comments are, if you want to enforce this, I guess at this point, we've just got to do with a lawsuit, because they're not even entering into any reasonable negotiations. Like, I guess most of the people do try to say, hey, give me an extra 30 days, or I've got a plan, or let me sell the house, or whatever. Like in the Rodman case, let me sell the house, or property. So, I mean, certainly it's up to you as the commissioners to decide what you want to do. But in the past, you have authorized a couple of different lawsuits to be filed, like in the Mott's case or the Thrush case. We should also give a chance for anyone in the public, whether if they're here and we don't see it or something, for them to come up and speak. But other than that, it's for you guys to discuss what you want to do.
So do the commissioners, well, we should probably have
Anyone from the public? Yeah.
anyone from the public first? Okay. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak on this? Anyone? Hearing no one, we will move on. We probably should have a motion and a second, one way or another, and then have discussion.
Susan, I would make note in your minutes that the property owners didn't show up for the, okay, thank you.
Very good.
They're notified by certified mail or hand delivered,
Both.
both, yeah.
And I did make a packet for them too, and obviously they're not here to receive that or anything.
And so they were notified of today's hearing by the certified mail?
Correct, yep, I hand delivered and I was certified.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I made a packet obviously for them so they can review,
That's the right way to do that, yep.
so.
The ordinance requires both certified mail and posting on the property or hand delivering, so we do both so that
Very good.
Just make
So
sure.
they knew
a lot of,
about- they
some
knew
people
about
just
this
don't
hearing
take
for
us,
sure.
Right,
some people
yeah.
just don't take certified mail, yeah.
Right. Well, and plus she opened up the door and I literally handed it to her, so.
Okay,
So and obviously they're calling.
right, upset about it.
So they got it.
All right.
Well, Cameron, I regret that right out of the gate you run into a case like this.
Hey, it's okay.
I mean,
We fed them straight to the wolves, Bill.
Yeah,
initiation.
they
by
brought me
fire.
on and Chris went on vacation. So-
Very true.
That's true, so, but yeah,
You sure you signed up for this?
it's okay.
Okay.
We're good.
Well, we're behind you. We'll stand behind you. And anything we can do that, I'd make a motion we proceed with lawsuit on this case, because I see no other out for it.
I mean, I reviewed all the photos and everything from 474 days and nothing's happened. Nothing's been cleaned up. So nothing's been touched.
I get by this place quite often, and I'm fully aware of what it looks like
Right.
in person.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to move forward with the lawsuit as presented. Is there any other comments?
I get one comment that I don't like doing the lawsuits, but this individual property has shown that they're not going to do anything. I'm willing to work with the property owners if they're willing to work with it like we've had with in the past. But this one, it sounds like they're not gonna do anything unless there's a lawsuit involved, so I have no problem with following through with the lawsuit.
Seems apparent with Right on Life.
Yes.
So basically lawsuit to enforce the ordinance violation enforcement. Okay,
I believe that's correct.
that's the motion. Yeah.
Any other discussion or comments? Anyone else from the public? Hearing no one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Andrew, do you have any additional comments?
Just that I will prepare the lawsuit like we have in the past.
Okay. So now we can declare this hearing closed.
For this particular, yes, for these individuals, yes, it can be closed.
I would entertain a motion to close this hearing.
I'll make the motion to close the Dickerson hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close this hearing. Any additional comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Now we'll move on to the next hearing. Do they have to be sworn in again?
You understand? Yeah, I guess it wouldn't hurt. It's a good question. 2 hearings in a row.
It was closed.
Probably would cover, but let's just do it again. Do you both swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right.
We'll consider this hearing open for the Melita and John Mason.
And just so that we talk, are those the Masons back there? All right, so we'll proceed with the hearing like we have here initially with code enforcement stating their side of the situation, and then you will get your opportunity to give your side. Okay? Thank you.
I don't know the reason why my mom can't hear the radio.
Okay, okay.
And plus my stuff's out there.
And we will want to hear from you here in a few minutes after Cameron gives his side, okay?
All right.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
So go ahead, please.
So, people outside. Is that door locked? What's that?
Well,
I just saw them peering in the windows, so.
I think we should close Mason and reopen Slacker. Deal with it?
Or let's do Mason and then we'll have him.
Okay,
just-
that's fine. We can do Mason.
Yeah.
Keep Mason going.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way we're not
Yes.
closing, swearing me in.
All right,
Closing.
that's
Swearing
fine.
us in.
That's fine. We can do that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So again, just like the other file we went through, basically I reviewed it and everything. This one, it seemed like Mr. Sleeper gave, ample amount of time to have the property cleaned up and everything. And obviously I've driven by, you guys can see the photos, of that particular property. And it's been going on, obviously, since 3/2 of 2023 to current, and that's 1,153 days. So.
This
and-
one's,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, this one started out under, I believe our first code enforcement officer, Paul White, and then has gone through a succession of, this is the 4th code enforcement person we've had. So, this one probably did get the ball dropped more so than, will going forward. But, on the second page, Jace had been working with, Colton Mason, not sure who that is, but, on part of this and saw some, improvements, but I think things have just, gone back to the way they were over time. So just make a note of what past code enforcement people have been dealing with as well.
Are these pictures, pictures that you took, Cameron?
Yes.
Okay, and current
Yeah,
pictures
these
of the
are
current state?
pictures.
Okay.
And some of this stuff, it's overflowing to neighbor properties and all that kind of stuff too, with other vehicles and stuff like that.
Properties that the Masons.
The Masons do own, but this is the one,
Okay.
this is the one that was, that I took photos of, but there are neighboring properties that are neighbor to each other, that they own, that just have the same abandoned vehicles, trash, stuff like that, just all over the.
It almost
properties
looks
and
like
everything.
somebody's running a mini junkyard.
Yeah, yep.
Are you done?
We are, yeah.
Yeah,
Just for clarification.
Okay.
Sir, would you like to come up and state your,
Yeah, both of you, please, yes.
if you could state your name for the record, please?
I'm Johnny M. Mason, my mother's son.
And is your mother
Begin with
Melita?
My husband is, my Johnny, his dad is dead. He's been gone since 2008.
Okay.
My husband is not here.
Oh, who's John J?
John J. is my dad. He is deceased.
He's deceased,
He has
okay.
been buried since 2008.
But you're also named John?
Yes, I'm Johnny. Yeah.
Johnny, okay. Could you two both raise your right hand?
What?
Raise your
I'll
right
come up
hand.
so I can-
I'll swear you in.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
She can't hear you.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes. Otherwise I'll be in trouble.
Calm down, calm down.
Go ahead and give your side of the story for your mom there.
Okay, yeah, it does look bad, but we have been cleaning up
It's
since
got half
we've got this letter. And my son Colton, that you're talking about, somebody was working with him. He got put in jail last year. So I didn't know what was going on, and this is the first I've seen this letter because Mom don't tell me nothing hardly. I find out through the grapevine. That's why I showed up, and we started cleaning up 2 weeks ago. I think it's been maybe 3 weeks ago. Something about the mud trucks, the campers, and all that they're sitting there. We were told we had to get rid of all our mud trucks, all our recreational vehicles, and our campers. I don't know if that's so or what, but we got rid of about $15,000 worth of mud truck stuff in 2 weeks. You go out there now, I can show you on the one picture here, one of them, it shows that you took pictures, probably from the cemetery or something. There's one, hold that one. Yes, that one. And I'm waiting on a guy to come and pick the one truck up that is sold. Can I show you what we've done on here?
Absolutely, yes, please.
You wanna
Walk
see-
over here.
Do you want to see, he wants to show you what they did.
This is a picture of the whole field. There's a car hauler that a buggy sits on, that we were building for the dunes. That's still sitting there. The white truck, well, pretty much all this is all moved except these three, well, that one. This one is in the bullpen where we put it. A lot of other stuff, we put in the bullpen, a lot of it we hauled off. That truck there I got sold, I got a kid that's supposed to come and get it. I don't know when, but he's supposed to come and get it. And we gotta get that trailer on dead. Everything is almost out of the field. Like that big mega truck with the big terror tires, yes, that is still sitting there. Because I wanted to build it up, but whoever told her, all my trucks, all recreation vehicles had to go. I don't understand why our recreational vehicles had to disappear. And the campers, because we use them every once in a while. the mud trucks, you ain't got title to them once you strip them. The title that went to them, there's no VIN numbers, nothing. We strip everything and put roll cages in. It's a toy.
But you still get a license from the license branch, a title to it.
Not according to what I've been told by the license branch. It is a recreational vehicle. There's no titles to mud trucks or nothing. They don't deal with it. Because when they're trash, when you roll them, we haul them off the junk. Strip out what we want and haul them off the junk.
Well, I guess we'll leave that up to
And that-
how they want to.
I don't understand. It's going like I say, I'm here because mom can't hear the greatest.
That's fine, yeah.
Colton was gonna be here. I don't understand what happened. He called me, said he couldn't make it.
But we'll leave it up to what they want to
Because
do.
he's been out there 7 days a week, cleaning up. But you walk out there right now, and everything you see in this field, what's the boats there, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I'm trying to get it on a trailer. That's my big trailer that we haul the mud trucks with. The car hauler, yes, it needs a rear end. We can't move it because it's sunk in the ground. We snapped two rear ends out of the truck trying to do it. I don't know how it gets moved, unless I bring a trailer in.
So are you trying to get rid of it, or what are you trying to do?
No, we're trying to move it. We're trying to get it moved where we can reuse it again. Because we pull trucks on there and haul them wherever we want to go. And hook a trailer on the back of it and go. For race cars or whatever. That's why we got that. There's quite a few of them in the bullpen because I don't know who was supposed to show up on the 20th. But I sat there from 7:30 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night.
I don't know who's
And
going to show up
nobody,
on the 20th, so.
well, it says here, someplace,
This guy at the bottom on the letter was supposed to.
that's supposed to have showed up on the 20th to tell us what was going on and what we had to do.
It was just a passing by, it was a.
And I never seen it.
We made a phone call.
I didn't make a phone call, and Colton made a phone call.
We made a
And
phone
nobody
call
called
to
us back.
somebody, and he
I
did
don't
not
know.
return it.
I don't know who he called, which number he called. Nobody called him back to let us know what was going on. And he was at work. I sat there all day because mom said somebody was supposed to show up. Okay. I'll be out there at 7:30 in the morning.
Well, it sounds like you guys have had a good discussion. If you could go back to the microphone and Cameron come back
I
here.
don't know what to do. What else to do, because I got everything I can to clean up. Few of them I'm trying to get moved yet.
Yeah, but that's not.
Oh, what do you
fair to
think
get rid
about,
of your-
what do you think about, Chris had suggested maybe giving them another 30 days and then having Cameron come out and inspect after 30 days?
Well, I think
Is that what you're thinking?
yeah, I think Cameron, let me know if you want to do this, obviously. And maybe even, well, weather's not been great. Anyway, I'm thinking off the top of my head, if we give them an additional 30 days and Cameron work with Johnny to get this property cleaned up, I think there needs to be, it appears that these mud trucks, and I'm not trying to start a discussion, but just, it appears that they still will need some sort of title. They're still considered an off-road vehicle, so I think BMV is still gonna require some sort of title. So if you can prove that there's title or registration to the vehicles that are there, that they're not considered abandoned, then, I think Cameron can work with you guys, but he's gonna need to see, I mean, this has been going on since '23, and it still looks like this. So I understand.
In 23, it did not look like that.
Okay.
The only time it looked like that was when my son went to jail and he lost his place.
Okay.
And I had a couple buddies come in and they didn't stack them like I told them to.
Okay.
The privacy fence that I told them to back them straight in, well, they just everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I think if the commissioners are up for that, I think that Johnny appears to want to make this better. I think he's here to help his mom, so, but I think the 30 days would be part of the last straw in getting this cleaned up.
No.
But that's up to, obviously, you all to make that decision too.
Just, Johnny,
Down. Let them talk.
sir,
Yes, sir.
is 30 days acceptable to you?
It should be, but what am I supposed to do with the campers? Because I can't get them in my bullpen. Are they fine sitting outside of it? And the car hauler?
As long as they're titled and registered, that's not an issue of if they're, but if they are abandoned, and they don't have current title and registration, then they have to be removed from the property. But they don't have to be in a building per se, or,
Okay.
whatever, as long as they're.
So as long as it's, I can go to the license branch, can you give me a paper stating that they need titles, the recreational vehicles, how do you do that?
RVs have.
I've been told from the license branch that you don't need them if you're a recreational vehicle.
RVs.
Camper, you do.
Yeah.
You can't take a camper down the road without registration.
Yeah, I understand that, but I went to the license branch and asked him. I've been told by cops that we need a vehicle title for it, or some kind of proof that it's ours. But you guys are telling me, the license branch is telling me that, no, it's a recreation vehicle, you don't need nothing.
The mud trucks or the trailer, or the
The mud trucks.
mud trucks?
Talking about the camper.
That's what I don't understand. The ATVs and all that there, we got rid of ATVs and all that, we had sitting there for the grandkids to play on out in the field. And we just hauled it up because we was told to get rid of it, or we would have a fine, and we don't need that.
Can we do a little bit of research?
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, we could try to do, yeah.
Goes out there.
Yeah, Chris and Cameron will maybe try to do a little research.
Yeah.
It sounds like on the issue of mud trucks versus do they have to have titles or not? It may depend on whether or not they're just used out in a field versus on a road, I don't know.
I don't either.
So,
But the RVs are gonna have to have, okay,
Yes,
those do.
campers.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
campers.
so that we're good there. So if you can show proof that those have that when you meet
That they
with
have a
Cameron
title
on
and
site,
all that there.
yep, then he can make note of that.
Play them unless we're going camping or something. If we're not going camping for God knows how long, we don't use them to go up to a buddy's place or something, camp out in their field. We don't go to
they still have
rest
to tie.
areas and all that there.
You still have to have an active
Yeah.
title and registration
Yes.
for the BMV,
I understand that,
so those will need to be,
but I'm just saying that we don't hardly play them because we don't go all over the state with them.
So I think the issue is if you have a title to them, they're okay with that, I think.
I'm gonna see.
Okay? That's explainable.
Potentially. I don't know about the plating.
Again, is 30 days acceptable?
I'm hoping it is, because we got only a few of them out in the field, but I don't know what to do, because we got a privacy fence out back.
Need a valid
I
registration.
was gonna back them straight into it, the ones that I couldn't, like the car hauler and the campers, back them straight up to the edge of the fence.
Current valid registration.
And that, but everybody says, oh, you can't do that, you have to get rid of it. By what the paper says, it's like, I need to know what's going on.
Well,
The ordinance requires it to be registered, valid registration.
and I understand that. We have our new enforcement officer meet with this gentleman, and the two of them, I think, can make this very clear and understanding as to
Right.
what needs to happen. Is that okay, sir?
Yes, that sounds good to me. If somebody come and explain to me, or give me a paper stating to the license branch, hey, yeah, it's a mud truck, you still need a registration for it.
Okay.
But the license branch was saying, oh, no, you don't need it.
You got,
Because
Maybe
it's
we can
totally
reach out to
stripped.
the license branch.
I've ran them for years, and I've never had a title for my mud trucks. Because we roll them out of the mud competition, we strip out what we want, just haul it off and jump.
Thank you for coming in. We appreciate you helping your mom and both of you coming in. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate it, but when, like, chance can I get a hold of somebody or they get a hold of me?
Yeah, it'd be Cameron here will do that.
That's on Cameron in the hat, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So if you wanna write your phone number down right here.
I'll make a motion to give them another 30 days to work with our code office compliance officer to clean up that property.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to allow a 30-day extension on this issue. Is there any other comments or questions from commissioners?
Comment I have is they have a history of trying to clean up the property, so I have no problem giving them a little more time.
And I agree.
Go by Johnny, I go by Buzz.
Buzz.
Andrew, do you need anything else?
Nope, we're good to vote, I think.
Yep. Just so you all right.
Get ahold of you.
Thank you, sir.
You can hold, come out and explain to me. Yep. Come out and look, and I can meet you out there, because I live in Corona. at my house, but I got stuff stored at mom's.
Okay, yep, we'll
And
get hold of you.
Colton,
Yep.
Colton's got stuff.
They're voting right now to give you another 30 days.
What,
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
they allowed to put up a, well, a bigger privacy fence or something?
He's gonna come out and talk to us. Are we done?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, come on.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. This hearing is now closed.
Correct, thank you.
Now we need to, go ahead.
You're gonna do a motion to close like you did the other
Yeah,
one?
I'm sorry.
Make a motion to close the hearing for Mason.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the hearing as presented. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Appreciate that. Need consistency. So now
I think we need to
reopen.
reopen, I think. If someone would do a motion to reopen the Sliger hearing because he may have been caught outside.
I'll make a motion to reopen.
Is there a
Second.
We have a motion and a second to reopen the Slinger Dickerson hearing as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Do we need to swear in again?
Sure, we could, yes, swear you, yeah, do everybody at the same time. Robert, there you
Yes.
go. Do you swear to tell the truth, and you too as well, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. So, do you want to explain?
Yes, so, there was a hearing that was held. They called for the public, but nobody, was here for, how long have you been here at the
I got in here like 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
Yeah, I was told once not to walk into a courtroom.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess since the hearing is reopened, is everyone okay if I just ask him to give us an update on cleaning up the property, what's going on?
I've been cleaning it up ever since I got the paperwork. It's work in process right now. I mean, I've jumped out 4 or 5 vehicles and, I don't know, $2,000 worth of junk at the junkyard. I mean, it still needs a little more, but I haven't stopped working on it.
And when did you, so it was after you got the notice of today's hearing, you started to clean it up?
Well, I've been cleaning it up ever since I got notice to start with. I mean,
Okay.
it got carried away, I'll be honest with you.
Okay. So are you willing to clean up your property, it
Yes,
sounds like?
yes, I am.
All right.
I'm not trying to make waves or anything.
Okay.
I got to live here.
Oh, yes. Is there a Leota?
Leota, yes, my ex.
Your ex, is she living at the property?
No,
Okay. Cameron, did you see her at the property or see
So
somebody?
there was a lady there.
Yes.
I did hand the letter to her.
okay.
And then on Easter Sunday at
Do you know?
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, do you know who the lady was he might have spoken?
It's probably my girlfriend I have there now.
What's her name?
Danielle Lees, Leas.
Oh, okay. Did you know that we believe she left a kind of a threatening voicemail on him?
Yeah, so,
I did hear that, but after the fact.
yes, so she did call and left a threatening voicemail. And what she wanted to make clear was very clear on that I will die if I enter your property. And all I did was just gave a piece of paper to her or to whatever female was at your residence.
I do believe you.
Okay, and then she then continued to harass the government phone that's provided on 414 continuously. And then I did answer on the on the third phone call. And then that's where she started just rambling, going on. But what she wanted me to hear, she made very clear that if any DeKalb County government official, agency, whatever, that enter your property, they would be hurt. So,
That's her thinking, not mine. But I don't know what to do. She's not mentally upstairs, all right? She's got paperwork. I don't know. I took her phone away from her, which is probably not a good thing either, but I don't really know what to do myself.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
I'm sorry that happened, really. I mean,
Yeah, I'll put him with Buzz.
So, it sounds like you're willing to do this. The commissioners had authorized the filing of a lawsuit. It's, you know, you may want to rethink that potentially if he's saying he's willing to be compliant and if he does not endorse the threats that were made
yeah, no, I do not.
to Cameron. And it sounds like he's trying to take care of that situation with the threats potentially as much as he can.
I am.
Do you guys have any questions for him or Cameron?
Cameron, you said that the property hasn't been, looks like it's been cleaned up for a while.
Yeah, it still looked like when the first letter was sent out, when Mr. Sleeper started the process and everything, it looked like nothing was touched or anything, so.
When was the last time you were out there to look at it?
Well, we actually made an agreement, with Andrew and Chris that there would be no passing by or anything because of the threats, so.
Oh, that's true,
Yes, with this one,
for a safety issue.
correct, it was a safety issue.
So these last photos were on
So those are the photos I took,
in March.
yeah, it had been probably March time.
So it's possible some of it has been cleaned up.
Oh, it's,
You don't,
it
Yeah,
has
because there
been
was
cleaned
no
up a lot.
passing by or anything because of the threats towards myself and DeKalb County.
does she have access to a gun or anything, or?
No, sir.
Okay, that's helpful to know, but, okay.
There's none on the property.
So Chris, Cameron, do you have a suggestion on how to go forward here, or what you would want to do in this situation now
I mean,
that
I
he's
think
showing up?
We'll just we need to get Robert's contact information.
Right.
And be solely in contact with you. Cameron can
Yes.
contact you about scheduling a time to come out. You guys can walk the property and see what he's done and what his plans
Right.
are. I would probably, my suggestion would be to maybe keep the motion for the lawsuit, but extend it 30 days and see if we have another 30-day. And then, you know, come back to the commissioners with an update in 30 days, whatever that date would be.
So like have a motion to give another 30 days
Yeah.
before filing suit? and
There
have-
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd make that motion to extend a 30-day pause on the lawsuit and get good verification. You know, we got pictures, get pictures from the same angle in 30 days. Make sure stuff has been cleaned up or removed.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll second that with the caveat of the sheriff department will have to go out with you every time you go. Every time you go out there, you have the sheriff's deputy to go with you.
Okay.
Totally agree with that. We have a motion and a, Commissioner, you do want to say something?
I just gonna say this, no reflection on you. We have to take these
I understand.
threats seriously.
I truly understand.
And just to be cautious, you know, things happen and we just want to make sure this guy is safe when he goes out there.
but we do appreciate you showing up here today. Thank you for doing
absolutely.
that. That helps to show up and
Yes,
communicate.
I do care.
Yes,
I mean,
thank you very much.
So 30-day extension prior to filing with an update, prior to filing lawsuit with a sheriff deputy.
Yes.
Yes.
Good?
was it a lawsuit against me or her?
Oh, the lawsuit would have been against you and
property owners.
the property
That's all-
owners?
that's okay, that's
Right,
what I
but they're
wanted to
holding
know,
off on the
yeah.
lawsuit now for 30 days at least.
Thank you.
She's not listed on the property though, is she?
No,
You and your
no,
ex-wife?
no.
Yeah, so it'd be Leota, not Danielle, but Leota.
Right, exactly. And I gotta get her name off the deed, and it's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Any other questions or comments, commissioners?
We have a meeting set up in 30 days to go over it before we do the lawsuit. Chris, whatever that meeting is.
Well, I mean, it might be nice if we had time in a month to have another
I would like
spot
to
for
look at the
Chris and
pictures and
Cameron
stuff.
to come in.
I think Bill would agree with me. We want to
Put
look
it
at
on the
pictures
spot.
before we go with it.
Yeah, let's have Cameron in 30,
Yeah,
28 days,
whatever, yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah, that's right, that'd probably be 20.
So May 26th, is it Tuesday?
Is that because of the Memorial Day?
That's fine. We'll have the update on that date to decide.
Chris is already here from 9 to 10.
Let's just put it in the 9 o'clock slot.
No, I'm already here for other things. that
Oh, other things.
Have
okay.
already been.
That are already in?
Yes.
Okay.
So this would have to be like, what, 10 o'clock?
We do pledge then. I mean, if those other ones are gonna take an hour.
I don't think we need to do a hearing. I think we just need to do an update. And if it is better, then we can cancel the lawsuit. Do we
So
need
maybe
to have a
just do
hearing
it
for
under
that?
old business. We'll come in at 8:30.
Okay.
That works for
8:30
me,
old
if that
business.
works for commissioners.
Is that good, gentlemen?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to do a 28-day extension. Is that
Yep.
29.
29? Well, okay.
Yeah.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So in 29 days, the commissioners will meet again here, and you're certainly welcome to come at that time. And our new enforcement officer will come back and give us an update at that time. And again, you're certainly welcome to come. And if there's a dispute between you two as to what is done and what isn't, we certainly need to hear that. And we appreciate you coming in and helping us out in this situation.
Appreciate it too.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let me get your phone number, your contact information.
If there's nothing else right now, we can adjourn 4 minutes early.
You motion to close this?
yeah.
Yep, you're right. Thank you again.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the hearing as presented. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried.
My only question would be, would you want Cameron to do an update on the Mason property that same time?
Sure.
Might as well.
That way we can get that on the agenda too, Susan, Jude, or, sorry. One letter difference. That way, just so, I know it wasn't stated during the meeting, but we can let them know that too. Mason's.
Yep,
Good.
Okay.
okay.
Thank you guys,
Chris. Very
appreciate
good.
it.
We'll
Stick
stand,
around for the pledge real quick.
yeah, we'll stand in recess Call the meeting back to order. Baisha, you have the floor, please.
We purchased a token that they can use. So I just need, we came up with a form stating that they are responsible for the token. So for employees that are taking the token, they're going to be signing this, that if they lose it, the county will be deducting from their paycheck to issue a new one. Now, the plan is, the first one we're giving to them. The county is paying for that. If they lose it the first time, we will replace it at no cost to them. And then after, if they lose it the second time, then they'll start paying for it. So I just needed you guys to see the form and approve it before we start rolling that out.
What is the cost going to be to the employee? Do you know?
It's $20.
$20. Yeah, now that you mention it, I did see it.
Only if they lose it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the second time.
yeah.
And the cost is $20, you said?
Yes,
And that's not that's the actual cost.
yes, it's the cost of the device.
Gotcha. The statute requires it to be no more than the actual cost.
Okay,
That's what they only choose to take the fob instead of just.
to take the fob, correct. Yes. Yes,
Yeah, they don't have to pay the $20 unless they've lost it, like,
yes, if they lose it or if they leave the county and do not turn it in.
this form allows for the money to be taken from their paycheck, which is only allowed under certain circumstances by statute. And I've reviewed the form and it's okay.
Okay.
Quick, excuse me, quick security question.
Yes, sir.
So if I lost mine and you found it, will you be able to access the county website off of my fob that I've lost?
I would need to know your password as well.
Okay,
So if I do not know your password to sign into the computer, it's useless to me.
okay. Just think that needs to be said, that because of all the security issues, and we'll hear from our insurance agent that that's coming down the road, that we all have to do it because of, well, number one, for security for the county,
Right.
greater security, and number two, for the insurance company. So, gentlemen, do you have any questions, comments?
No.
No? Oh, I'm sorry.
I did some research. I asked 21 counties if they require this. And most of them do. And a couple of them told me that one of them will charge the $30 to replace, and another one charges $100 to lose it.
Wow, must have expensive fobs. Okay, thank you. That's good information. Appreciate it. I think that's it, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
So can we,
You guys
You-
need to approve it.
Yeah, okay. So we'll need a motion and a second and to pass,
To approve the form
approve the form.
and I guess the policy along with
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the form and policy that goes with it. Is there any other discussion or questions? Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Ms. McMahon. Sorry about that.
Wanted to talk about the stop loss and organ transplant renewal, for July 1st. So we took both benefits out to market. On the organ transplant side, we had carriers that we marketed to. One declined to quote due to ongoing claimants, so we already have that risk on. But QBE came back renewal. So the Apex recommendation policy, thank you, Kellen, is to just renew as is on that policy for 7/1. So no change to rates. You want to address that one and then move forward, or just keep going?
I think you should address this one, and
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Not a lot of choices on
it
this
sounds to me like that it was a good thing that we got a
Absolutely,
flat renewal
yes.
in that situation.
one. Exactly. We have ongoing claimants and somebody who's pending approval. I will say on the organ transplant policy side, typically they do look at their entire book of business unless you have a true organ transplant hit that policy. So they're really just rating the risk amongst their entire book of business, which keeps rates down for everybody.
Gentlemen, you've heard the recommendation.
I'll make the motion to go with QBE, is that who it is?
Yep.
For the organ transplant.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the carrier as presented. Any other questions or comments? Anyone from the audience? Hearing no one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Okay. On the stop loss side, we did market to 9 carriers between Apex and PHP. 2 carriers provided proposals, and then we had the rest of the carriers decline as non-competitive, just their rates were higher than what our current rates are and what the renewal is. So I distributed that benefit renewal report that had the 2 different carriers, but I'm only going to be presenting the strongest option, which is our incumbent carrier. So who we're already working with was the strongest option even with the market. So if you renew today as is, that is the $150,000 specific cap on each member. So nobody will go over that amount. And that is Companion Life and IISI, or they call it ISI. And that is firm offer, and we were able to negotiate the 50% rate cap and no new laser back in after our first round of negotiations. They originally removed that coverage, but because of the competition we had from the market, we were able to get them to add that back in for about 1.5% load, which when we're looking at a potential laser of millions of dollars, that 1.5% load is much preferable to a laser. So what I'm presenting is the Companion Life renewal with that no new laser 50% rate cap option for the 2027-2028 plan year, so looking forward 12 months. The $150,000 spec option, if we're looking at that bottom line of total plan increase, which is fixed costs and expected costs, that is a 14.7% increase overall to the plan from what we are at today. I will say when looking at that total plan increase, it is lower than what the projection was by about $28,000. So we were extremely close on our projections, and the renewal actually beat our projections by a little bit. So it's good that we set our premium equivalents based on the projection because we were able to move forward with open enrollment and all of those pieces. But when our renewal came in, we were pretty much right on the money there on that $150,000 option. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of awareness that our projection was almost dead on to what we're looking at right now. So that would be a fixed cost increase of 20.8%, and that is across our specific and aggregate reinsurance. So that aggregate is that whole plan protection. The max claims liability increase is 14.4%, and that is only going to be experienced if we do have that worst-case scenario year, where we run up 125% of our expected claims. So that's more of a nebulous dollar amount. We could hit it, but most likely would not. So that total plan increase, again, is 14.7%, or 606,000 over current. We also have the opportunity to save on the fixed cost by increasing our specific deductible. And that actually does also give us more savings on the bottom line as well. So if we went with 175,000, we would actually have a fixed cost savings from current. So those expenses we know we're gonna pay would be going down by 47,000 per year. So that is a swing between the renewal as is and the increase in spec of, it would be about $160,000 in fixed cost savings. Now that does give us additional risk per claimant of $25,000. So when we look at what that is, the juice worth the squeeze type of thing, we would need 6.6 spec claimants, so going over that $175,000 amount to break even for increasing. So if we had 7 spec claimants, we would be losing on the bet to increase the spec.
And what's our average of that per year?
So if you scroll down in that email that I sent out, and I can say this also for the public so they understand what we have going on currently. Historically, in the 23-24 plan year, we had 2 claimants who hit that 150,000. If our spec had been 175,000, we would have only had 1. And then if our spec had been that 200,000, we also would have only had 1. So those don't add together. It's just, thank you. It's just if you did hit that amount. Last plan year, we had 3 go over the 150,000. But once you got to 175,000, there were no claimants that exceeded that. And then plan year to date, we have 1 who's hit the 150,000 and no one who's gone over 175,000. And that's data through February. Yeah, unless something new happened, we would be looking at potentially 1 more this year at that 175 level. But you can see historically, we haven't got anywhere close to 6 or 6 plus, yeah. And then the strongest offer and what my recommendation is for renewal is actually increasing that specific to the $200,000 mark. So now that we're more established as a plan, we're going into our 4th year of self-funding. We have a lot more data to be able to make these decisions to increase our spec and understand what our risk is. If we did increase to the 200,000, we would be saving 26.4% on the fixed cost side, so there's known expenses. If we look at the difference between the renewal and that offer, it is $266,000 in fixed cost savings. We're taking on additional $50,000 in risk per claimant now. So that would be 5.3 large claimants to lose on the increase of that spec, on the spec increase.
5.3 means once you hit the 200, correct?
Exactly, yep. So we're taking on additional risk, but we have a lot of fixed cost savings on the table as well. We still have that aggregate protection. You'll see on the maximum claims liability, as you increase the specific, your maximum liability naturally goes up because you're taking additional risk per claimant. So that's just that natural increase on the overall plan protection side. But when we look at total plan increase, that is 11.8% or $487,000. So that's our worst case scenario year. We could potentially be at an 11.8%. Rather than if you scroll up to the $150,000 renewal at that $606,000 increase. So it also brings, increasing the specific also brings our total plan risk down by about $120,000. So my recommendation is to renew at the $200,000 level just based on our historical large claimants and the potential for the fixed cost savings to the county. There are 2 lasers on the plan. One is continued to be lasered at the exact same level. That is the individual that has the factor products for inhibitors, so that's hemophilia. We were able to negotiate that direct contract as well with the Indiana Hemophilia Center, which is saving us a ton, hundreds of $1,000s on each infusion. So our risk going into this next plan year is even significantly lower than it was for the previous plan year. There is also another laser who is not covered under the stop-loss contract at all. That is someone who had large claims but terminated off the plan. So that's why they did exclude that member, to be able to give us those competitive rates. They do still have their COBRA window, which is open. That election window expires tomorrow. I was able to get an extension on the stop-loss contract until Friday. So my recommendation is that we wait until the day after that COBRA window expires, get confirmation that that member didn't elect, and then sign the documents. So delaying the signature until Wednesday, since we do have that firm offer, that just closes the risk of that individual electing COBRA and being on the plan without stop-loss coverage.
Now, if we go to the 200 specific deductible this year, we can go back next year if it need be. It's every year that we do this.
You absolutely can. I will say, going backwards, you're gonna get a bigger rate load, than if you just keep
Yeah,
it at that. Yeah,
depending on how, if
Yep.
we get a lot of large claimants come in, then we can always.
you absolutely can, yes.
Any more questions, comments? Anyone from the public? No?
I'll make the motion for the president to sign for the 200,000 specific deductible Apex recommendation on Wednesday, the 4/29th.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the 200,000 specific deductible per Apex recommendation. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Great. Can I send those through to you, DocuSign on Wednesday? Does that work? Perfect.
It'll be too wet to do anything, yeah. It'll be too wet to farm, so yeah.
Are you sending it to me or Jim?
I can, it doesn't matter, whatever your preference is.
If it comes to me, I'll be able to.
Oh,
Okay, perfect. So you'll send via DocuSign, right? Or do you want both? Okay, perfect.
anything else?
Not this time. We have open enrollment coming up, so we'll be working through that.
How's the pharmaceutical rebates coming along?
Great. I included the financials on that email that I sent out. Let me make sure that they did it in. They were looking to add those in, and they are. So we have our January received listed out, and then I'll make sure that our most recent one is included. It should be hitting in this month, so we'll make sure those are up to date. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good week.
Oh, thank you. You as well.
For sure.
Sir Kyle. We're 5 minutes past due, if you accept our apology.
Accepted.
Thanks for having me, as usual. For you guys and girls. All right, thanks again for having me. We can jump right in unless you guys have anything on your guys' end or burning questions. The
Floor is yours.
This page here that I just handed out, so we'll go over a good amount of data today, some options, some care recommendations. But here to start with, you know, a lot of what options we can get and then what options we would choose are based off of claims data, right? And that's what carriers look at. That's what we base decisions off of as well. Generally speaking, history repeats itself. So when we see trends, we want to be mindful of them and use wise choices when we're looking at coverages. When we look at the industry as a whole, I think I mentioned this last time, we're seeing improvements in the industry, specifically on the property. Property coverage was a main bugaboo in our industry since 2019, since COVID really kind of intersected. Carriers were taking large increases on property, large building increases as well. So it's kind of double dipping on rate. And those are cooling off. They've stabilized, and I think carriers raised rates 5 years in a row and found out that they're getting adequate levels of rate. So we are seeing not the pressure on the property side, it's more the litigious liability side that we're seeing some remaining issues on. That would be auto liability, auto accidents, and the lawsuits that stem from them, and then the umbrellas as well that sit on top of that is where we're still seeing carriers either not want to quote or their pricing has been less favorable on that side of the house. Work comp has been great. We saw a huge reduction January 1st for our work comp reduction or work comp premium. Part of that was your guys' lack of claims, which is great, but the industry itself is just seeing work comp be a favorable coverage on as well. So it's kind of a mixed bag depending upon what we're looking at. And even for you guys, there's a coverage, you know, we had the cyber situation. Cyber's been a really soft market right now. A lot of carriers are wanting to quote it, and they're quoting it for competitive prices. We'll talk through that coverage line here in a little bit. Obviously, with our situation, we're a little bit out of the norm or unique because we had that event. So if you go through this,
Kyle,
go ahead.
could I ask?
Sure.
One thing that's on my mind a little bit is the number of lawsuits that are coming up related to the jail stuff. I just sent you over the weekend, I think another three.
Three of them, yeah.
So, have those affected the rates?
We were able to negotiate a favorable police law enforcement renewal.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of these claims are tending to get dismissed or, you know, well, basically just dismissed because of being incorrect. Sometimes they suing the county instead of the city or suing the county instead of the medical provider and that sort of thing. So hopefully they took that into account, that these are not ballooning up into $1 million cases.
Yeah, and they did, and we had that, I mean, we were way out ahead of it 3 or 4 months ago, speaking with those underwriters.
Awesome. Thank
just
you
to
for
kind of
doing
know kind of what the situation is. These are called pro se claims, so it's, you know, there's claims where law enforcement's out and about on the streets and something happens, there's claims exposure there. These have almost all been claims where they're just inmates at the jail alleging things.
And probably about 15 or 20 of them were related to the fire. And so whatever company that you had, was it?
Indian Harbor.
Has been fantastic because it combined them into one claim.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely fantastic. Otherwise, there could be $25,000 retainage we'd have to pay the attorney on every case to defend them. So
yeah,
I feel like that was, the carriers treated as well.
Yeah, we've had 26 claims this year.
Sorry to interrupt, but I
no,
wanted
you're
to bring
good.
that
That was
up.
all. That's all good. 26 claims this year on the law enforcement line, which is, if that's the third box down there. So let's just jump there. You know, in 2021 we had no claims. 2022, 23 we had 3, then 2, and 7, and now we're up to 26. So a couple things, we're seeing law enforcement claims and severity or frequency of them has been on the rise across the board. It's not just a DeKalb County situation. That's been happening over the last handful of years, but it's been an even more heightened increase for us, which does raise some eyebrows from us, from Andrew, and the underwriters that are looking at the account. Now, like Andrew said, a lot of them have really paid out nothing because they've just been frivolous or had issues with them. And then, like he said, the one larger fire claim, I think there was 15 claimants, maybe roughly.
Yeah, at least
for that one.
Yeah.
In Indian Harbor, we negotiated with them to combine it all into one claim since it was one occurrence.
If I had to guess, they were all talking together because they all came up with the same demand dollar amounts and very similar type thing. And
Yeah.
so it may be a little bit of, hey, you know, for some of them, it may be, not all of them, but some of them may be, hey, I found out I could write a letter and get a claim, so.
Yeah.
On these claimants, if it's the same person doing the lawsuits, that counts as a claim, correct?
Say that one more time.
It's based by lawsuits, not by person.
Yeah.
If the same person did 8 of them, it's 8 claimants.
Yeah, as long, if they're separate.
They're separate.
They're separate,
Which
like,
is what happened for.
something happens this month and they file a claim, something happens next month and they file a claim. We have.
Yeah, we've had a handful of those where we've seen some repeat offenders, maybe it's like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
There's been the frequency of them has just gone through the roof. I actually we had a walkthrough at the jail with sheriff, maybe 3 weeks ago, and had a good conversation with them. And at some level, what's going on, we don't know how to prevent it.
Right, because people have a right to make a claim in case there really is a legitimate claim that happens.
So,
well, and we did have, one of them got shut down, one of the gentlemen got shut down by the federal court because he had 3 of them dismissed.
yeah.
There was one that had multiple claims, and so eventually the federal court, after 3, it's like a 3 strikes and you're out thing, I think, or 3 or 4.
He's been transferred out now.
And he's not in there anymore, so he can't really file any more claims against us. So there's some, I think once the fire dies down and that particular 1 or 2 people are not there anymore in the jail, it'll reduce quite a bit, I think, in future years, what I anticipate.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. And so we explained that to the underwriters. They understood that conversation. And anytime that, in our industry, the term frequency breeds severity is always kind of what underwriters think. If they have a lot of small nickel dimer stuff, is there potential that the next one could be a big one? That's what everyone thinks. That's kind of how the data or trends lead to. So when we do have a ton of increase in frequency, but not necessarily severity yet, we're not being penalized yet for this renewal. We'll just want to be mindful of that doesn't rise its ugly head in the future.
Okay.
Definitely something to be mindful of as we're going forward. If you look at where we've had losses, we've had some property losses, that happens. We'll talk about deductible options here in just a little bit on the property side. General liability's been pretty solid. Police has struggled here. Auto liability, auto physical damage is where we've seen some claims. Hasn't been a huge frequency count, but we do see the loss ratios, as you can see, spike up and down each year. If we don't have a couple claims, great loss ratio. Looks like back in 24-25, we probably had 1 large auto liability claim, and that can spike that auto liability loss ratio really fast, which is why it's 96%. That being said, for 5 years on these, police were at 46%. Anything over 50% would be deemed unprofitable with carriers. You want to be 50% or below. You really want to be 30% or below. But if you look through, police is at 46, auto liability is 28%, auto physical damage is at 58, which is running a temperature, but not too far out of line. So if you look, we're not immune from claims, and we know that, but we don't have any coverage lines outside of the cyber currently that are unfavorable view from the underwriters, I guess the best way to put it. We are seeing claims experience. They do rate for that. We're not completely innocent on all those, but we are doing things proactively to do things the right way, and we're getting positive renewals because of it, is the best way to put it. You can see the cyber claims built in there, which really throws off the overall loss ratio, but even with that, we're at 50% as an account as a whole in that bottom box. So, any questions on the claims themselves and or kind of how that works or how it impacts rates?
You talked to the sheriff, you said a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
About the jail. Would a new jail help with any of this, or not really affected at all?
I don't see that improving it, just because this seems to be more of a word of mouth situation and less environment, or the jail itself. I think you have individuals talking with each other and leading to an increase in claims because they have time on their hands to do it.
I mean, when you see 10 claims asking for the same dollar amount that's not really connected to their damage, it's just they're putting the same dollar amount in, it makes you wonder, they gotta be talking.
Well, I just didn't know if any of the claims were because of the particular of building, like living out conditions or anything like that.
Yeah, no, there are, and a lot of the things that are alleged in, so there has to be bodily injury or property damage for a claim to be compensable and to have the claim go through. So some of them are alleging things where they're just, insurance doesn't cover it. They just don't want to be there, for lack of better words, right? But a lot of, I would say a portion of a lot of their claims does have living environment associated with it in some way.
Well, the fire is all the smoke.
The fire is all the smoke.
Is part of that, and the other, there was one mold, but I think only one mold, and that was an exclusion. If mold happens to be the main part of the case, then that's not something that's covered.
Yeah.
I would hope with a new jail, we wouldn't have a fire.
Yeah, and even on that fire, we're still working through that. So just so you know, I mean, there was an electrical contractor that we believe caused it, so we're working to subrogate those claims to make sure that the county's not getting dinged for them in the long run. Short term, it shows up in lost runs, but if we can subrogate and get those funds back from their carrier, you know, then it's a wash moving forward. So some work.
Does that show up on this then?
Not yet. But
it would if it got segregated.
Yeah, so once that ink is dried and we get that money back, then it's gonna wash out what's on here now.
And my understanding is the subrogation process goes on behind the scenes in like a private arbitration between insurance companies.
It's really just insurance carrier arguing another insurance carrier, making it right.
Yep.
And the reason we do that, or what reason that happens, because a lot of times it's easier for you guys to turn in the claim upfront to your insurance carrier to get everything started and get it processed. And then once everyone provides liability or accepts liability, then our insurance carrier will then behind the scenes go after their insurance carrier to pay the bill for it. So we front it, but collect on the back end type thing. Okay, any other questions on the claim side? Okay, here is the actual, I'm gonna pass this out to you real quick.
Thank you.
Here's a spreadsheet. It looks a little busy at first, but we'll kind of walk through this and use this as a resource as we go through the proposal itself. It's going to help provide some context for exposures, limits of insurance, things of that nature. So it's all in one spot for us. If you can jump to the binder that I gave to you. Yep, there we go. Open up to that first page. You guys know who we are. Been around for 100 years and worked the county for countless decades. But we are part of the DeKalb group, as you guys know. Our headquarters are in Richmond, Virginia. Still operate as insurance trustees here locally. Same people as always. Just giving us a lot more access to technology and markets out there to make sure that we're taking care of our clients. So it's been now 8 or 9 years since we've had this affiliation with the DeKalb group. Overwhelmingly been a really good thing for our office. Part of that is we're adding some new team members. We have added some new team members. One of them in particular is that bottom individual named Terry Elko. He has about 20 years, or he had 20 years of loss control experience at carriers. We've brought him in-house to the DeKalb group to help work with our clients direct and provide, whatever value he can, his expertise. He will, anytime we have a carrier that wants to come and do building walkthroughs, that wants to provide recommendations on what they'd like you guys to do to change, he's going to be a part of that conversation to make sure it's reasonable, allow him to push back. The other thing that he will be able to do is come in and do trainings. So he's going to be coming in, is it Thursday this week, Dottie? Yeah, Thursday the 30th. He'll be coming in. I'm not able to be at that safety meeting, so he's going to take my spot. One of the things we identified throughout this process was that our fleet safety program within the county for auto liability was really not up to snuff for what it should be and what carriers want to see. It's understandable because the sheriff has such a lion's share of those vehicles, and they have to have very specific fleet safety programs in place, their proper policies and procedures, that some of the ancillary departments just weren't up to snuff on, having things in place as far as driver safety and risk management. So we've identified that, and Terry's going to come in. I believe he's already been working with Dottie at some level, and is going to help kind of revamp that for the county so that everybody's up to the right barometer of safety and risk management we need on that front. Two things: we want people to be safe. Less claims is better for the county, better for premium. The other thing is, if there is a lawsuit and we don't have proper documentation that we're having all of our drivers do the right things, you open yourselves up for lawsuits, negligence, where attorneys can come in and say that we did not properly train our employees and that we had some level of negligence by not having this policy in place. And it just kind of ramps up a potentially large claim. So kind of hits both sides of the coin, but it's going to be really helpful for the county as they work through it.
So on that note, and I talked to Dottie a little bit. Maybe you can answer without a whole lot of research, but I guess I'm surprised that the county doesn't have a drug and alcohol test program for county employees. Most companies that have vehicles have it. It would only make sense that, and you can help me here, I guess the question is, do other municipalities, counties, et cetera, do they have that program? I mean, it's mandatory if you have semi-trucks or over-the-road, even pickup trucks that are under a corporation. It's mandatory by federal government standards. And I guess I'm a little surprised the county doesn't have it.
Yeah, I think we were too, and we were going through some of those policies and procedures to see some of when we identified those gaps. Terry did email you some information specific to that, right? As far as what we could or could not mandate. So there was some gray areas or nuance to what we can and can't do and how that procedure or policy needs to be put together. But to your point, it is something that needs to be strengthened or maybe implemented is the better way to put it. But it does need to be worded properly so that we're not going to have any issues with that. So I think it's already in the works, and maybe something that Thursday morning they'll be talking about.
Okay. Well, I'll bring it up on Thursday morning.
Okay, so you'll be there, great.
I'm planning on it.
Yeah.
I can't plant.
Got some extra time? Yeah. So that's not something that we just want to write for you guys. Terry's helped a lot of other accounts do this. We want to be the county's procedure, so he'll give you guys recommendations on what should be in there, and we can give you the Word document. We can red line it with you, take out or change whatever needs to be changed so that everyone's on the same page of what should be in there. And then once it's done, it's enforcing it with employees, obviously, at that point, moving forward.
Thank you.
Yep. I think also, I believe maybe right now at 11 o'clock, I think over at the sheriff's office, IPEP is in doing a work comp 101 with the sheriff's office. They tend to have the majority of the work comp claims by nature of their work. So Christine from IPEP has history in law enforcement. She used to work IPD, I think, Indianapolis Police Department. And she's over there right now going through a work comp 101. So, long story short, we're always looking for ways to work with Dottie or the different department heads just to see how we can help and bring in experts at no cost, that is, to come in and just help you guys improve. One last plug here before we jump into coverages, just so I don't forget. The renewal process is a lot of work from a lot of people, and a lot of it's your guys' staff, right? Like, we eat up a lot of people's time going through the process. Larry Lane did building walkthroughs with us and did a fantastic job being hospitable. Dottie had multiple meetings with us to make sure the documentation was coming through. Sheriff Besa, we got a curveball, not a complete curveball, but we were not happy with the cyber renewal that we received about 2 weeks ago. And as soon as we received it, we pivoted and looked for other options and called Besa with kind of SOS help. We're gonna need your help here in short order to get applications done and get things moving. One of the things was the multi-factor authentication, which he talked about. And he jumped in right away and provided solutions so that we could provide proper coverage. Long story short, there's just a ton of people here at the county that are good to work with. They've been really helpful for us on our side as we've gone through it, so thanks. Yeah. Susan, for sure, with all the applications. Okay, markets approached. So we went to 9 total markets on the commercial package. And Travelers is who we're with currently. We had a pretty strong feeling that they were going to be the best option at the end. You know, about 12 months ago when other brokers were looking to quote the coverage, they all wanted Travelers as well, just because they're the best option right now, specifically in the state of Indiana for municipalities. They have the most competitive options with the best coverages. That being said, we still go to market and take a look at what's out there to make sure that we're doing our due diligence for you guys. We had one other indication come back. Most carriers just said, hey, we don't really want to write counties right now. Cities are more preferable to insurance carriers than counties. Counties are generally larger and a lot of times have jails. Cities do as well, but the jails are something that carriers are not very fond of at the moment. Liberty Mutual came back with just an indication. They said that it would be at least $700,000, which was, you know, over $120,000 more than what Travelers was. We kindly told them that was not going to work, and they waved the white flag. We tried to get creative and got just a property-only option for you guys. So leave everything with Travelers, but break out the property. Cincinnati and Chubb are 2 carriers that we've done that with other counties in northern Indiana. So we have some experience working with them doing this. Cincinnati's property premium was $261,000, whereas Travelers is $107,000. Obviously not a viable option there. Chubb, the same thing. They were $165,000, just property only, and versus $107,000. So when we kind of looked at the marketplace, Travelers was the clear winner, and it really wasn't close this year. Once again, we'll blink and 12 months go by, and we'll be at the same again next year. But we have identified all of the areas that will work with municipalities, specifically counties, and we tried to give a little verbiage there of just why they weren't going to quote this year. One, to keep in mind Astra. We spoke with them a ton. They actually came out in person as well. They were not, they said they weren't writing counties this year, but they thought that that might open up next year and they'd have the opportunity. So we'll always be keeping that pulse with these carriers throughout the year and go to market each year for them. We did go to 7 different cyber markets as well. Once we got the Travelers renewal, you can see the Travelers renewal, it went from 28,000 to 78,000. We expected an increase based off of the claim. I wasn't expecting 200%. So we worked with them. They were pretty stubborn, I guess the best way to put it, on that pricing. So when we went to market, we found out they really weren't out of line, but Tokyo Marine is TMHCC. We should have their final quote today. They gave us an indication of 43,000 and gave us a verbal that they're going to have us a quote today. Just we couldn't get it done before this meeting with the short timeline. So we'll be recommending a switch there, but we can talk about some more of that as we get to that coverage line. Long story short, went to a lot of markets. We will provide a couple deductible options as well here on the property and the auto to talk through. So, any questions on that as far as the marketplace as a whole? Okay. Cut me off if I get long-winded on it. Here's our basic policy info, our locations. We can essentially skip through this page. There's really nothing there that's material. We get to the property. We've got the property blanketed as building and contents at $83 million. We have business income at $5 million. Business income is going to be a coverage where we have a tornado that rips through downtown DeKalb County and we're not operating these businesses or these buildings anymore. And this would be extra expenses or payroll that we would need to replace if we were non-operational. It's been $5 million for 3 or 4 years, as long as I can remember, so maybe even 5 years. I think it's a good number, but it's kind of one that we probably want to think through at some point one of these years. What could happen if these buildings disappeared what could we be out? We're obviously gonna replace the buildings. This is more gonna be for employee, payroll and extra expenses that come with it.
But the question would be then, let's say that, I don't know, one of the buildings was destroyed in a tornado. What kind of extra expenses or business income would be paid for by that? Since we don't run a business, we run a government agency.
Yeah, anything, like even with the building supplies that come in, anything that would be expedited to come in to help fix, if there's a tornado that comes through here, there's gonna be a lot more than just the county policy themselves gonna respond. So all of a sudden now you have strapped local markets that can help, or local businesses that can help do the repairs, and it's making sure that we're getting any additional funds that are needed at that time of claim to be paid for here, so we can get you up and running as quickly as possible. Ordinance and law coverage, the building, older the building, the more this is important. And this would be if we have that same situation, we're gonna replace your building, we're gonna replace your contents. This is gonna be additional funds so that if an ordinance or loss claims that we need to then put in a sprinkler system or have additional fire doors or need to do the building in a different way because it was built 80 years ago or 100 years ago, that we have additional funds to help make those modifications to the building for you. And then we have flood and earthquake at $5 million apiece, with the deductible at $50,000 for flood and $25,000 for earthquake. Below that's our statement of values. Kind of breaks out every single location by building. We keep this on file for you guys. One thing to note is the county home, since it's now not occupied, it flips over to actual cash value. If that changes, we can go back to replacement cost, but unoccupied buildings or vacant buildings, the better way to put it, or actual cash value. So one thing to note here, if we looked at the property, we've got a $10,000 deductible for all other perils, so any property loss that we have. We don't have a wind-hail deductible, and that's kind of been the biggest change in the property market the last 2 or 3 years has been the introduction of wind-hail deductibles. When we quoted this with Cincinnati and Chubb, they were $50,000 deductible and $100,000 wind-hail, and we're at $10,000 deductible with no wind-hail. So what we're seeing in the market is our deductible is very low for what the rest of the marketplace will even offer. Now that's good for us at time of claim. If we have a claim, we're not going to shell out $100,000. We're going to shell out $10,000 as part of that deductible. But I did ask if we increased our deductibles, could we get some premium savings because of it? And down below, if we go to a $25,000 deductible, it's about $9,500 in premium savings. If you go to that next page of the statement of values. $50,000 deductible, $13,000 in premium savings. They're at the bottom of the page.
It's just for the property?
Just for the property. So, looking at options, deductible options to provide savings is always a good thing and worthwhile. If we had one property claim, we're upside down and taking advantage of those premium savings. From my point of view, I would rather take the lower deductible, or I would recommend taking the lower deductible, at least for this next year, because I do think that maybe next renewal, travelers may push it up to begin with, and then we can use that as a bargaining chip to negotiate better pricing then. If we go to it now, we're leaving that on the table for the future. So I don't see a huge value in increasing it, other than we save $10,000 or $13,000, and we just get advantage of that now. But we know one claim could upside down. Any thoughts or opinions on that, as far as the property deductible?
I totally agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one loss and it's we're upside down.
Yeah.
Don't play with Murphy's Law.
Right, that's how it works. We have some other options coming here later where it's not that scenario that we'll want to talk through a little bit deeper, but I would agree for the property, I think we just hold steady at $10,000.
I agree with Bill.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to be upside down.
Yeah. Crime, a smaller coverage, but worth noting, employee theft we have for $250,000, and then the additional crime coverages that come with it. Commercial inland marine, we keep on file for the county. I think Susan works with you, Susan Direct, on those lists. So we have on file scheduled miscellaneous property, at almost 1.5 million, just over 1.3 million. And that's a list of items. And then scheduled contractors' equipment, which largely is from the Highway Department, I believe, at 2.7 million. And then we also have unscheduled owned equipment. Essentially, it's a rider on this policy that if we buy a tractor and we forget to tell, you forget to tell us, it never makes to the policy. We have up to $100,000 automatically to cover them in the, in that type of event. Nice security blanket for us. We also have unscheduled equipment, leased rented equipment for $150,000. That's generally when you guys go rent a piece of equipment from McAllister or Taylor Rental, whoever it is, and you need to send them a certificate of insurance for that. You're not going to buy the insurance from them. We already supply it from our policy for you.
Good to know.
Yeah, good to know, yeah. We go through it every year. I'm sure there are times where they just go ahead and pay for it because they do, but we have coverage built in for that scenario. General liability, we did see, an increase here on the general liability. I pushed back on that with the carrier. This is based off of the county budget. I was told the county budget increased roughly 15%, I think. So that the premium went up with the county budget as that's the exposure for it. This is where we have employee benefits liability, our abuse molestation coverage, which is separate than the one that we'll talk about here in a little bit that we had for the county home. Public entity liability, and then employment practices liability, which is the wrongful hiring, firing, discrimination type lawsuits that can pop up. Okay, those are all $1 million, then the umbrella sits on top of them, or the $5 million umbrella sits on top of those coverages. One thing that Andrew had emailed me on, and I've done some research on, is pollution liability for the county. I would say it's a fairly common coverage for counties to have. Generally, they have it because they have a wastewater plant or they have a landfill, are the two reasons why they carry pollution coverage. We have neither.
What was the second one?
Landfill.
Oh.
Yep.
Is that the mold coverage I emailed you on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've never had a pollution liability policy for the county in all the years. We could look into it if that's something you guys were concerned about. It popped up because we had this mold claim where it potentially could have kicked in if needed. We don't even know if it would be used yet. But it just came up as a topic of conversation between Andrew and I. Is that something you guys are concerned about moving forward? We've never had an unpaid claim because of it.
And I view this claim as probably a small one anyway.
Okay.
But since it was there, I wondered if we had coverage, and
yep,
we may not need it.
Yeah.
Liability there, I mean, we don't have a sewer system that the county's responsible for. And our landfill's been closed 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would tend to agree. I just didn't know if we wanted, I was talking with Andrew if we wanted to look at options moving forward, but it's not a recommendation per se.
That's just my opinion only.
I'm fine with that too, not doing anything, but if I see an issue, I want to at least bring it up and see where everything's at.
Well, if somebody goes on the county landfill and gets hurt, that wouldn't come under this coverage anyway.
That would be a general liability claim.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Next couple pages are the cyber. So that travelers, I put it in the traveler's quote just so we had of it, or we talk about it.
Before we get into cyber, Kyle.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the Sunny Meadows Professional, how many years is that we got?
1 year.
1 year, and then the abuse is?
The abuse for the Sunny Meadows,
Yeah,
the maximum they'll do is 1 year.
So it's just 1 year for each one of them?
1 year for each one of them. We had talked about looking at a longer tail for the abuse molestation, and they don't offer it probably because of the increased exposure, which is all we wanted. But that's not something they did offer.
We have them for both for 1 year, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
The risk of liability goes usually just about 2 years. But if someone has, the risk goes down a lot after 1 year.
Sure.
It doesn't go away, and if there's no possibility of getting tail coverage, then 1 year is the best we can do.
Yeah.
And it also saves money by not paying it the next year.
That's what I was curious, 'cause I know we talked about trying to get it at least 2 years if we could.
Yep. So the Traveler Cyber, you know, I think for all intents and purposes, they did a great job with the cyber claim from my limited perspective. I mean, I think
would
they
agree with
jumped
that.
in and they have,
Yep.
they're clearly good at what they do.
The
Right?
attorneys and experts they got in, I
Yep.
think, knew what they were doing, so.
So you're not going to be able to say anything negative to Travelers there, other than their renewal quote just went through the roof. Like I said, it went up $50,000 because of that claim. So there's other markets that are, we would say, equally as good. Tokyo Marine, so Travelers, I looked it up, is the second largest insurer of cyber policies in the country. Tokyo Marine is the fourth largest. So we're not pivoting to some small regional carrier that may not have the resources at time of claim. They're fantastic too. And they also are half the price for their cyber option. Like I said, big help from BESA. We sent them all the information we had from Travelers. Tokyo Marine then sent us new applications and things to fill out. BESA turned those around very quickly, got those back to them. Like I said, this is an indication, so that pricing could change. I don't think it would be more than 10% either way. Could it get better? But we should have a firm quote in the next 24 hours. Either way, it's going to be overwhelmingly better premium-wise than whatever Travelers is proposing to us.
These are apples to apples.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tokyo Marine knows about our claim.
Tokyo Marine, everything was out in the open when we sent out, when we got the increase from Travelers, we sent a full submission packet out to every carrier with all the claims details as well, to make sure that there was going to be nothing on the back end that could present a problem. So is there any concern from your guys' end on changing cyber carriers? I think that would be our recommendation, would be to move that coverage from Travelers.
No, as long as, I mean, the only caveat what I would have is that as long as you're feeling comfortable with the company that you're recommending.
Yeah. Yeah, we've vetted them. We've written a lot of business with them. This isn't like a first-time situation. So like I said, they're the fourth largest cyber carrier in America. They have all the same bells and whistles that Travelers had. So hopefully we never have to use them, but they do have them if we need them.
If the increase was only 25 or 50%, I'd be more likely to say stay with Travelers because they did really well, but when they jump at 200%,
yeah,
it makes it hard for the county budget to think about paying that much. But that's just my thought, not legal opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, business sense says take the lowest bid, but again, my only concern is that I want to make sure it's a company, and obviously Kyle feels that way, that it's a reputable company that would.
Right, not a fly-by-night company.
Right,
Okay. So there will be potentially some additional paperwork to move that coverage. Susan, I believe that's something, can you sign for that? Okay. There'll likely be some other forms, maybe even from the police professional, that we need signed just to bind coverage, so I'll have,
They do their motions.
okay. Then we're gonna have ourselves, so we'll make a note for that. So thanks again, BESA, for your help on the cyber side.
So hold that thought.
Yep.
So do you guys want to do this?
I'll make the motion to switch from Travelers to
Tokyo Marine.
Tokyo
Marine, yep.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second to change carriers as presented. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
And in the minutes, Susan, can you put the savings that we were getting from that? Thank you. That way, 5 years from now, no one asks why we changed.
Yeah.
Next page after cyber is where we get to the law enforcement liability. We broke this out with Indian Harbor 2 years ago. It was partially because of the jail, some limitations at the jail on what we could get from carriers. The other thing was we saw the mounting claims that were coming out of the police liability coverage line. And so siloing that out doesn't grenade the rest of the package if we have an issue. This is an Indian Harbor policy, not a traveler's policy. So they're providing us competitive rates, but if we would see adverse claims come from this coverage line, it's not going to impact our general liability, property, and everything else that goes along with it. That makes sense. Yeah, it says law enforcement liability at the top.
Okay, and ours is before, that's
I think it
Oh,
was
really?
before the page we were on.
Yeah.
I was flip-flopped? Okay. Oh, sorry, that's why you asked that question earlier. So it should say law enforcement liability at the top?
It was right before the traveler's casualty and surety.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I got a little confused.
Yep. So we've had conversations there. We've had the uptick in claims. You can see year over year, we had really essentially stable rates from 25, 26, 26, 27. And the way we purchase this, because we have a $6 million aggregate limit for all other coverage lines that we've wanted to maintain, with the law enforcement, we buy 3 million primary and 3 million excess to that outside of travelers. So that's a combination of $6 million. That's how that works. Any questions on that front, on the law enforcement liability? Okay.
So you're wanting to know if they want to keep that?
Just if there's any questions on it. I know we talked a lot about the increase in claims, and I'll say Andrew's been all over those. Normally, I get an email at 9:30 p.m. Seems to be the law enforcement hour from Andrew as far as when we have turned in new claims.
But you don't have to turn them in that late.
Yeah, I know.
Wait till the
Next morning
out.
normally, yeah. Yeah, next morning. Sunny Meadows, we talked about that. We have the professional for $1 million, Butte Molestation for $1 million, and then we'll keep those for an extended reporting period of 1 year for each. And then educator legal liability, that's with Change Academy. We carry that $2 million limit and have for years. Until something changes at the Change Academy contractually or the way they operate, we need to maintain that educator legal's liability for their operations. Business auto, a larger coverage line for us. We had an increase in 8 vehicles year over year, so you'll see there's some premium increase there. A lot of that is 8 additional units from expiring to new business, or sorry, to the renewal. We have a couple deductible options to talk through. We're currently at a $1,000 comp and collision deductible, which is low. When we got options from Liberty Mutual last year and Apex last year, the lowest they would do is $2,500. So we, once again, have a lower deductible than what the marketplace has on average. So we have some deductible options here for us with the premium savings. I think this is something that we might want to take advantage of. The comp and collision deductible is going to be, obviously collision is going to be hitting someone while you're on the road. It's our physical damage to our vehicle. The comprehensive part is normally going to be like a deer strike. That's not included in collision, or maybe a tree falls onto one of our vehicles. That would be a comprehensive quote or a comprehensive deductible situation. The liability deductible, which provides significant savings, is going to be a third-party liability. So it's different than the comp and collision. If we would hit a third-party vehicle, then we're going to pay $2,500 deductible to fix their vehicle too. So we're going to pay a deductible for our vehicle and for their vehicle at time of claim. Once again, if history repeats itself, which it generally does, and you look at the auto liability side from our claim sheet, we've had 4 claims, 7, and 0 the last 4 years. And some of those were pretty low payouts. I think it could make sense to take on that liability deductible and get almost $20,000 in savings based off of our claims history. If we've averaged roughly 4 claims a year, and this is 8 claims to get to a break-even point, all of a sudden now the scales tip in our favor to where it makes sense to take advantage to get those premium savings from my point of view.
I haven't seen a whole lot of accident.
Yeah, there hasn't been much. Any thoughts from commissioners on that front as far as the deductible options?
Be more apt to do the liability deduction one versus the comp collision ones. The third line down option, the 2,500 liability deduction for the 19,000 savings. We'd have to have 8 claims, which we average 4 or 4. I mean, even our highest was 7, so we'd still be ahead.
Yep.
So I'd make the motion to increase our liability deductible to 2,500 for the premium savings of $19,076.
I'll second.
We have a motion to change the auto option to 2,500 for liability deduction. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 3-0.
Susan, you put in the notes that's 8 claims before we'd be upside down. Thank you.
The umbrella, 5 million, once again, sits over the underlying policies, the general liability, the auto liability, et cetera. So we'd have $1 million for the underlying, 5 million for the umbrella, $6 million for any one claim that would pierce the umbrella and need to respond. That umbrella, you can see with the premium, did see an increase there. The umbrella premium or the umbrella rates follow the auto and the general liability. So the general liability went up because of the county budget, and then we increased 8 vehicles on the auto schedule. So the umbrella follows and has the proportionate increase for that coverage because it follows the underlying, which is how that rating works. So if you kind of look across the board, I tried to make it as clean and easy as far as lines and splitting up so you can see each one. There's really no large swings in premium on any one coverage line. The best we could do on the math was there was a 5% exposure increase from building increases, additional vehicles, and then the budget for the county. If you net everything out, the rate increase is about 9% outside of exposure for the county on the insurance as a whole, including the cyber that took the increase as well. Any questions on any of it?
So there's an increase of 85,000 for our premiums.
Say that one more time.
So our premiums increased 85,000.
Yeah, did you take away the 19,076 for the liability deductible?
So $66,702.
Yep.
Increased premium. And that's because our budget went up and we had more cars, roughly.
Essentially, yep. And then the cyber claim.
And the cyber.
And the cyber claim.
Probably cyber's.
I completely blame Beza for.
Yeah. And even with changing carriers in the cyber, we're still going to realize some premium increase there based off of the claim.
Expected.
Yeah, I get it. So I know we covered a lot of data information. Any questions on any of it?
Well presented.
Good job.
So we need to make a motion to accept Travelers then?
Travelers, yeah, is the main package carrier.
What about Indian, and
So if you go to the, I included this in here, I wasn't sure how you'd need to do it. This third page, this policy info, breaks out which carrier does what. Like Travelers doesn't do the educator legal, so it's Greenwich. They don't do the aviation drone, so it's global. You can see the
You're gonna make me do.
carrier breakdown. I'm gonna make you do a bunch of them apparently.
Well, you could,
Do them all as one.
you could vote it as, yeah, like you're approving basic policy info with the following carriers, and then I will list these out like he has them.
That sounds amazing. I make that.
Perfect.
and this does not include cyber in this, or wait, it does have cyber, but with Travelers, we changed that already, didn't we?
Yeah, we had Travelers listed because they were in the incumbent, but that'll be TMHC or Tokyo Marine.
Tokyo Marine. Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make that clear from this.
So we have a motion to accept Travelers as the carrier for the basic policy info. Is that correct, Kellen?
Yes, for the commercial property, inland, marine, general liability, political officials, and the business auto and the umbrella. We'll just do each, we'll kind of do it a little separate to make sure we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
Well, business auto, is that still Travelers? Yeah.
Yep.
Right, okay. That's my motion for those.
Okay. Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the basic policy information as presented. Is there any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
I'll make a motion for law enforcement professional liability to be done by Indian Harbor Insurance.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept Indian Harbor for the, I'm trying to find the page there, police, law enforcement liability.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll make a motion for law enforcement excess liability from Kinsale Insurance Company.
Yep.
Are doing these?
I'm going to do each one separate. That way for the public, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That way the public, if they want to listen, they know which insurance companies we're using. That's my
We
motion.
have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Excuse me. We have a motion and a second to accept the police professional excess liability policy from Kinsale as presented. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried 3-0.
Make the motion for educator legal liability from Greenwich Insurance Company.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the educator's legal liability from Greenwich as presented. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, excuse me. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Make a motion for commercial cyber and privacy liability from Tokyo Marine.
Didn't we already?
Oh, I did that one. Okay, never mind.
We already did that
And
one.
then I make a motion for the aviation drone liability from Global Aerospace. And that'll be my last one.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the drone liability as presented. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Did we cover them all?
Got them all.
You might want to do the actual renewal of the auto, because you only did the increase. With Travelers?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Travelers for which one? The
For the business auto.
business auto policy as presented. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 3-0. Now do we have them all?
I think we do.
If we missed one, you can come back and we'll do it again. It's a,
You had included the umbrella one with your
Yes.
first one.
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
So Susan, we have until the 10th for the effective date. We'll try to get anything that needs signed or buttoned up over to you sooner than later so that we're not under the time crunch on it. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
We have a lot of different policies there, but Kyle, you've done a wonderful job. Thank you.
Yeah,
Saved
thank you.
taxpayers a lot of money.
Appreciate it.
Yes. I'm sure I'll be emailing you every week here,
Sounds
probably,
good.
right?
Yep.
this point, is there any other item of interest from Commissioner Hartman?
No, sir.
Commissioner Dooley? I do not have anything. Andrew?
Nothing.
Susan? Anyone from the audience? Yes.
Not until next meeting.
You see here. And we just want to make sure that we do it right. And so if you would please, look that over so we can talk about it next time. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? Hearing no one. If there are no objections, we will stand adjourned. Hearing no objections, we're adjourned.
Okay, what time?